Hey, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of Keeping It Young podcast, conversations about marriage, family, and ministry life. I'm Dave.
And I'm Bethany.
And we are the Youngs.
Welcome.
Hey, by now you should have celebrated Valentine's Day.
I hope so. Get on the ball, husbands, if you haven't.
If you have not yet, it's still February, so you
Actually,
still have time.
Should we tell them that we really still need to celebrate because
we haven't
we've
officially.
been apart.
We've been apart. Bethany was with her mother who's not well.
Yeah.
And so she was being caretaker for her mom for a few days. And so we missed the Valentine itself, but we have plans.
Yes.
And so we'll be
And we
celebrating
did celebrate
this
a little before.
Yeah, here and there. And we've already bought presents and a few things
Yes.
like that. But
Yes.
the official we're going out together will occur this weekend.
Woo-woo.
And so by the
excited.
time you hear this, we will have celebrated.
That's true. That's true.
That's right. There's how this works. But hey, we have been doing a giveaway, and
Yay.
we've been asking for poetry, and we have received poems.
We have.
And I appreciate all your attempts at poetry, and we've just had fun with it. It's been a whole lot of fun.
Well, some of them more than attempted. Some of them actually achieved.
That's very true.
I think all of them actually achieved.
Yes, all of them were poems, and we enjoyed sharing them with our children.
Oh, yes.
And, that was a lot of fun.
Lots of fun.
Today we were trying to make final decisions. All right, we've narrowed it down, and we've tried, and we've narrowed it down. And
the adult children, some of them were able to weigh in via text or via Marco Polo.
We emailed them here and there. And
Yes.
then so today I was away at lunch with our pastor. And while I was away at lunch with our pastor, Bethany read the poetry to our two youngest, and I missed it. And I was so sorry I missed it.
During lunch. It was awesome.
Tell us about how that
Well,
went.
first of all, several of you, were a little bit sappy or a little bit funny, and they would groan or they would laugh or they would just kind of raise their eyebrows. But as I was going, I noticed that Jacob had gotten up and they were eating lunch. And so he had gotten up and he gotten some ginger ale that we have. And he got these little glasses. They're juice glasses. He got these little glasses, and he pours just a little bit of ginger ale in each cup. And then every time I would read one, they would kind of toast at the end, and they would be like, yes, here, this was good. It was, I don't know. It was hilarious. It was just making me laugh.
So thanks to your
we've
to
had
your
a good
participation, our family has had a blast. And just in preparation for reading poetry to you today and choosing a couple of
it was hard
of top winners, we'll do that at the end of the
was
podcast
hard.
today. But I went online and just was looking for funny Valentine's cards and different poetry that was available online.
I should insert here that my husband is an incredible poet. He has written me so much poetry. But we weren't participating. So instead of reading one of his original poems, he's gotten on the internet and found funny ones.
So here was a couple of Valentine's cards that I thought were just great. One said, "I would totally shave my legs for you."
Oh, my soul.
And I thought, no, there's a great card. And then there was another one had a head of lettuce on it, and it said, "Let us grow old and wilted together."
Wilted. Well, I hope not wilted. Maybe
and then there was
just a
one that
little
had
wrinkly.
bacon. Bacon's a big deal in our
Bacon
family.
is a good thing.
And this one said,
We're going to have bacon tonight.
Hey, there you go. This one said, "You're just like bacon. You make everything better."
Yes, you do.
And just because we have a friend who always was going around saying, "I am Batman," this one made me think of him. Robin is red, Nightwing is blue, rhyming is hard. I am Batman.
Who's Nightwing?
And then I actually took a picture. I have no idea. I took a picture of this one and sent it to my wife because I thought it was classic. It said, "I think you are suffering from a lack of vitamin me."
Yes.
that was awesome.
We remedied
So
that
here,
too.
before we read yours, are a couple of others, just poetry. This is one of the old classic. Roses are red, violets are blue. Please don't kiss me because I have the flu.
Oh.
In a COVID-19 world.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more flu. I think it's just all COVID.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. And then here was one called Silly Valentine. And this one just made me crack up. It's Valentine's Day, and it's really quite silly. My feelings are switched around willy-nilly. I'm happy, so happy that I'm feeling so sad. I'm gloomy, I'm joyful. Oh, man, this is bad. My body is clammy, then I'm in a deep sweat. Sometimes I'm giddy, sometimes I fret. I'm looking for comfort food deep in the fridge. Often I think I could jump off a bridge. What is the reason for all the above? It's Valentine's Day, and I am so in love.
that is
good
like
one.
a hurricane of emotion right there.
And then because Bethany is a English teacher, this one I got for her. It's called The Love Poem of the Jilted Grammarian. And here it goes. Is her went? Am she gone? Did her leave I all alone? Oh, cruel fate, to be so blind, to take she way and leave I hind. Doggone she, me hate she, me wish her were died. To them is in love, may heart forbid that they be done like I been did.
Oh, my soul. That's just painful.
Was it painful for you?
Painful. But it was funny, too.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So, this one I read for my daughter just because she hates my dad jokes. So I found this one. It's called A Veggie Valentine. You may not care it all for me the way I care for you. You may turn up your nose when I plead with you. But if your heart should beat with mine, forever let us hope. There is no reason in the world why we two can't elope.
Oh, my. Yes.
So those are good. Just a little humor to get us started.
I'm sure she groaned.
But, she did. She rolled her eyes, which made it completely worth it. So let's go. We have a whole bunch, and we know that we can't read them all, but what we thought we would do, coming up here in the month of March, in a couple of weeks from now, we're going to finish.
Yeah, I think
we have one more week
in 1 Corinthians 13. I think, actually, do we have two more weeks?
We have one more week. This one and
okay.
one more.
All right.
And at least I think I'm right about that. And then when we get into it, we're going to be calling our coming podcast March Madness.
All right, but I think 1 Corinthians will spill over into March just a bit, won't it?
Yes,
okay.
It will.
All
and
right.
so when we get into March Madness, we're going to be doing a question-answer podcast.
Yes.
Your questions and Bethley's answers.
Oh,
and then,
both of our answers.
And then we have a couple of really big ones. We've gotten some really big questions over, and a couple of our friends said, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Don't touch that.
But maybe we're crazy. We're going to touch it. We're going to go with it. We're going to...
Go where no other podcaster has gone before.
It. So look forward to March Madness. And during March
Madness,
we'll read a couple of the extra poems.
If we don't get to all of yours today, please hold on.
We'll throw a few in here and there in the podcasts and just share those. Here is one from our friends. These are missionaries to Honduras based out of our home church.
Yes.
And I got the shortest poem out of all that was sent to me was this one. And this is from our friend Nate Mortensen to his bride,
Corey.
And he says, here goes. It's very short. It said, to my beautiful, I am not good at poetry, neither am I good at ventriloquy, but I wish I could tell you I love you with two mouths. And there you go. That was.
I have to confess, I had to think about that one for a little bit, but now I think it's hilarious.
And she thinks it's hilarious. So I read it, Nate. Good job for you there.
It was very good.
And thank you for submitting that poem.
Yes, absolutely.
And then we have another one here. This one is from Bethley's friend. So why don't you read that one for us?
Oh, this is from my fellow friend and fellow podcaster. I meant to say fellow podcaster and my friend. Sorry about that, Jessica. This is from Jessica Smallwood. And let's see here. She has written, love is known by many stages. It thrives and grows throughout the ages. For us, our love began in Christ, his hope, his way, his sacrifice. And just when we thought our love was full, just us became more. And then we knew. In each other, we grew to know our bridegroom better. And in our children, we've seen our Father's tender care to both receive and share. This shepherd guides to dreams come true, and in the valleys guides us through. Our love grows strong. It continues on, not because of who we are, but because of whose we are. His bride, his child, his sheep, forever his, he'll lovingly keep.
Well, now there you go.
I thought it was really sweet. Very good, Jessica. And I wish we could just give everybody prizes.
Yeah, my wife has a hard time. She's the giver, so I had to put a little. Nope, we can't.
But I can put a plug in for the Friend to Friend podcast. Blech. See, I cannot talk today about
maybe
podcasts.
She was drinking some of that ginger ale.
David. Oh my word. Okay, Friend to Friend podcast.
Yes, Bethley was on there recently and
with
did
Jessica
an interview.
Smallwood.
And what was the subject again for our audience?
It was on pornography.
And so Bethley did a good interview there, and so I'd recommend you check that out.
But she talks to ladies of all ages about all issues in our Christian womanhood. It's a really good one. You should tune in.
Absolutely. Well, here is one for, it says for my spouse, Dalton, from Angel Simpson. And so, Bethany, won't you read that one? Bethany's a good interpreter of poetry.
Oh, here we go.
So read this one
All
for
right.
us.
Nearly 5 years ago, we shared our first I do, not knowing what our lives would come to. We're learning to share our heart, our hopes, and our dreams. You have been right there beside me as my eyes for only you do beam. Thank you for your dedication to our marriage, work, and mostly the Lord. When I married you, I'm the one that truly scored. Your humor, honesty, and those big blue eyes has on many occasions turned joy out of my sighs. We just received big news that we can hardly wait to tell. The many prayers together these last 2 years still cause my eyes to swell. You have had many titles, such as son, husband, preacher, and friend. You will soon hold the title of daddy, and our life loving you will spend.
That got us right there.
Yes,
that
it
just
did.
grabbed our hearts.
Thank you once again for choosing to love me. You're the best husband out there and father to be. I love you.
And congratulations
Yes,
on the coming
congratulations.
baby. That's awesome.
We love that that Angel wrote this poem. They just found out that they're expecting their first baby.
So we're happy for you. Congratulations. Your life is about to change.
In a good way, in
It's
a wonderful
awesome.
way.
Absolutely. So that was a great poem.
Yes.
And then we have this one from Emily Thacker. And this is our friends.
Yes.
And she actually, rather than write a poem, sent us the chorus of a song she wrote for their wedding.
Which I think is very impressive, Emily.
And it was very impressive.
Yes.
And although we didn't award it as the top one, this one certainly is worth reading.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, "Together forever you and I will be, to be by your side with God as our guide, I'll always faithful be. Your precious love I can't explain, how much it means to me, my life, my joy, my love, my all, together, you and me."
I want to hear the whole song. So
that was beautiful.
If you have a recording, you should send it to us.
And
Emily.
they have 4 boys. And so we had people writing in on why they think, why they thought we should pick them.
Yes.
And that was a really tempting one because having 5 kids of our own, that would certainly make a big difference.
Well, many of you wrote in, we have children and a date night would be nice.
And
Yes.
we agree with that one.
Yes,
so,
we understand.
Here we go. And then this one, Bethany, I'll let you read that as well. This was almost a gimme because she said we are her favorite podcast to listen to.
Oh, man.
And she and her husband, they, along with their teen group, they cooked and hosted their Valentine's banquet at their church as a fundraiser for their teens to go to camp. Mm-hmm. And so she was entering the contest with a chance to just have a date after all the work they did on Valentine's.
Right.
So
That's
this one
good
is by
reason, too.
Jana Brubaker, and this is a really good poem. So we want to read hers.
All right. Valentine's Day poem. My honey is so sweet, to be married is a treat. No finer person on this earth could I ever hope to meet. I'm blessed as you can see, and I'm happy as can be. I just can't thank the Lord enough, 'cause the best belongs to me. So on this special day, I really want to say, I love you more, dear sweetheart, than words can ever say.
Now that was a nice one.
It's a really sweet one. You could put that on a card, I think.
Yes,
absolutely.
you could.
Hallmark would love it.
Hallmark would just make a ton off of that one. So that was a really good one. And then this one was from Monica Petrie. It's a long one, a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. But she submitted this poem that her husband wrote for her over 11 years ago during their engagement. And so this is from him. And it was just a unique way of putting his love. So I'll read it for you. I love you, Monica. And when I say that I love you, I want you to know that it means if my love were an ocean, it would make the Pacific look like a puddle. If my love were a mountain, it would make Mount Everest look like an anthill. If my love were a light, it would make the sun look like a flickering candle. If my love were a sound, it would make a booming clap of thunder sound, like the faintest whisper. If my love were a time, it would make a century seem like a short second. If my love were a distance, it would make from here to the moon seem like an inch. If my love were a depth, it would make the deepest sea seem like a wading pool. The only thing that my love cannot compete with is the cross of Calvary. But that is my pattern and goal. I love you so very much, Monica, and as much as I love you today, my love for you tomorrow will make today's love look like but a shadow. And that was pretty cool, I thought.
That's really
so,
awesome.
Well done, pal. That was really good. And so you keep writing poems like that, and you will always be a winner. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, absolutely.
And, so we appreciate this couple. They wrote to us about how they are striving to raise their soon-to-be 6 children under 8. And so we are glad you listen to our podcast.
People,
Keep it up.
Very,
Keep it
very
up.
busy people.
Their 6th baby will be born next month. And how exciting is that?
That's very exciting.
That is very exciting.
You know, gentlemen, if you happen to forget that Valentine's card, you could, just back this up and pause it and just write down what Monica's husband said to her, and it'll go a long way. Unless your wife heard the podcast, and then... Yeah, don't do that because she'll remember.
If you could get it printed into a card, she will just think it's part of a Hallmark card, though.
There we go.
That'll work, too.
Unless she listened to the podcast. Because girls do remember.
Even if a girl listens to the podcast, that's quite a good line there.
It is. Just take out Monica's name.
Oh, yeah, please.
Unless your wife is named Monica.
That could be problematic, couldn't it? All right. Now, we had several of our children. We let our children vote on this. And we had a couple of our children really, really put this one way at the top.
Right.
So we are going to announce the winners here very shortly. But this one was very, very close to being top 3.
We had this was hard.
Bethany, are you ready to read about a young love from, I'm going to mispronounce her name.
Elena Brader.
Okay.
And Elena writes in that she and her husband don't have children yet, but they're very busy in ministry. And so, of course, dates are difficult when you're very busy in ministry. And yes, sometimes when you're in the ministry, you don't have a lot of money for a nice date. So, Elena writes, a young love. A love so young, some say it's still naive, yet we may find a fault in such a claim. God's word commands that 2 shall cleave. That's what we did, and man and wife became. Though short it's been, we've learned a thing or two. Some things that through experience must come. The whole communication thing felt new, but with your help, much better I've become. Your patience still astounds me every day. Your selflessness convicts my selfish heart. So much my better half in every way, you've led me close to Jesus from the start. Though our love is young, it isn't so naive to think there won't be problems, pain, or strife. But walking with you and our gracious God, there's nothing we can't go through in this life.
I got to tell you.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah,
that's a really good one. I don't know. We might need to bump it up there a little bit. Okay.
She's second guessing now. Well, we are coming down to the last few moments here, and here's what we decided to do as we read through these. And really, we wish we could just buy everybody a date.
That would be so cool. Thank you for
participating. Thank you for sending in your poetry. Thank you for taking the time to write. Mm-hmm. And not only did you write, many of you sent notes that encouraged us.
Yes.
And we are so grateful for that. But we actually narrowed it down to 3. And out of the 3, we picked one as our top winner. We're going to offer this person a $50 gift card.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
The restaurant and date of their choice.
There is one winner of the $50 gift card.
And for the record, several of you wrote in about the Texas Longhorn that you would love to eat there. And so, just for the record, you're not eating at Texas Longhorn, but we will buy
chefs out there that want to start a new restaurant.
We will certainly do what we can to honor your request. But we have 2 we're calling runners up.
Oh,
and,
yes.
What we're going to do, we thought these were really good, so we're going to offer the 2 runners up. Not a $50 date card, but a $25 gift card to either coffee, ice cream, or, ready for this?
Chick-fil-A.
We need a drum roll there. Chick-fil-A.
Sorry, I should have done the drum roll.
There
Sorry,
we go. So I'm going to read the second one here. Would you rather read?
It doesn't matter to me.
You have a choice here. All right.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'll let you read this one then.
Okay.
And I'll read. These are both runners up. So top 3 runners up.
Yes.
And so this one is for a $25 gift card. So go ahead and read it for us.
All right. Let's see. The authoress of this Valentine's poem is Lisa.
Lisa Grubbs.
Lisa Grubb. Okay. And the title
Grubbs,
of her poem is Mike. Yes, Mike is who I like. Mike is the best husband around. You would love his low singing bass sound. Mike is so neat and clean, and he keeps our lawn cut so nice and so green. Mike always pays all our bills on time. He changes words to hymns that are funny and rhyme. I have to give a side note and say that we do that too. Okay, Mike loves to hunt for deer and bear and drives our family to church and everywhere. Mike works so hard at work all day. At night with the kids, he will play. Mike makes the best breakfast and smoked meat, and fixing things is his daily feat. There is never a problem he can't figure out. It's Mike I can't live without. Mike is the best listener and friend. I can go on, but this poem must end. Mike, yes, Mike is who I love. I am thankful daily to God from above.
That's pretty awesome right there.
That is awesome.
And what
It's
I want to
definitely
know,
a runner-up.
is, does he rhyme those songs and changes during the church service?
That's what I do.
I know. That's why I'm asking you.
Just every once in a while. I hope you don't think
Every once in a while, just to
I'm
change a word in a
sacrilegious.
song to get our children to roll their eyes.
Yes, or to get them to sing, actually, is usually what I'm trying to
With
do.
a little more joy.
Yes,
Absolutely.
but Lisa,
So,
that
Lisa,
was
we'll be in touch.
really good. And I need to know, did you read a lot of Dr. Seuss? Because I think one of the reasons this
It
appealed
does
to
sound
our
like Dr.
family
Seuss does.
is because we have read a lot of Dr. Seuss as our kids were growing up. And even Charity still, she will read Dr. Seuss. So
Yes. So
pretty
well
cool.
done on that one.
Well done.
And then here is our other runner-up, and also we're giving a $25 gift card to Alex Williams. And here's what he says. He says, I am engaged to Anna Bergstrom, and we are getting married May 24th, 2021, this year.
That's so exciting.
Anna and I are currently following the Lord's leading to be missionaries in Germany. He said, I believe you should pick this poem because Anna has no idea that I wrote this for her, and I know this would mean the world to her to hear her poem on her favorite podcast. I just got to tell you, Alex, Anna is obviously a very wise girl.
Yes, very discerning.
Very discerning. So here is Alex's poem to Anna. Anna, my love, my darling, my dearest, to whose soul mine is bound nearest, whose smile radiates as the sun, who I may now call the one, who God calls a true friend, who knows and loves him with no end, whose goal is always to draw nearer to a God that becomes ever clearer, who has loved and cared by my side, who I will soon get to call my bride, whose soul and heart I will always cherish, who I'll love and care for till I perish, whose eyes look at me so intently, whose words soothe my soul so gently, whose laugh is so contagious, whose beauty is awe-inspiring, whose presence is never tiring, who makes my soul so courageous, who I love more than words can say, who always takes my breath away, who prays and believes me to be the man God wants me to see. I love you.
That
was
so
pretty
good.
sweet, wasn't it? Way to go, Alex.
Alex, you keep that up. You are going to have a long and happy marriage.
Yes,
and
you are.
Anna, hold on to him.
Hold on to him, and best of wishes as you guys prepare for
Yes.
Germany.
Gift cards coming your way.
That is absolutely awesome. Well, we have the final and just a few more moments left. And we actually chose as the top poem
It's actually two poems.
the winner. It is. It's a husband and wife. This is the only one where the husband wrote and the wife wrote and
Yes.
send them both together. So this is Hannah's actual love poem, and this is Philip's parody. And so, Bethley,
like me to read
you
Hannah?
read Hannah, and I'll read Philip. How about
All right.
that? This is our top choice.
I love Hannah's. Hannah, you have a real literary gift, I feel. So here we go. Come down the path through autumn leaves, beneath the woodland's welcoming trees. Hid in the woods, we stop and gaze, enjoying the romance of these golden days. Strong crimson maples quiver and dream, casting shade on a rippling stream. Sit on a slab of smooth gray stone beside this creek, with me, alone. The water glides in ceaseless flow, swirling where the breezes blow. Like this stream flows strong and true, God gave this love to me and you. See the dancing golden rays, on your hair the sunlight plays. I look into your sparkling eyes, you make this a paradise. I feel your hand at my waist and face, it thrills my heart to return your embrace. Baby, you are the love of my life. I am so glad You made me your wife.
That was pretty cool right
Yeah,
there.
it's a really good one.
Made me think of Robert Frost.
A little bit.
Coming down the path through autumn leaves.
Yeah, it does. Or
And
Wordsworth.
Very well
Very
done.
good.
But we just have to tell you that we're going to close with Philip's parody.
Yes,
the
and
totally not serious husband
Philip,
version.
yours was my kid's absolute favorite. Okay.
So you scored really high with our children. And here it goes. Baby, staring into your deep blue eyes, all I can see are a Big Mac and fries. On your hair the sunlight plays, but oh my goodness, look at all the phrase. I look at your lips so shiny and red, just like the truck of my good friend Fred. All joking aside, you're the love of my life. I'm so thankful that you agreed to be my wife. My new residence might be the doghouse, but I love you the same, my dear, charming spouse. Now, that was
well done.
That was very awesome. And
Yes.
Hannah and Philip are raising, let's see here, they said Joseph, their 3-year-old, and Paul, their 1-year-old. And they also wrote here that they've never eaten at a Texas Longhorn. So if
You probably still won't.
if we choose theirs, that they would really enjoy their time out. So we're saying congratulations.
Yes.
We'll be in touch with you top 3. We are so happy, and you just made our week reading these and laughing.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun.
And all of you, we didn't have time to read them all, but for every one of you, thank you for taking the time to show your love to your spouse.
Yes.
And letting us having a part in it as well.
Yes, and remember, we will be reading the ones we didn't get to eventually.
Will. So join us next week. We'll finish our series on 1 Corinthians 13.
Yes.
And get prepared for our coming March Madness. We're looking forward to question answers. You can go to keepingityoungpodcast.com and send us questions. If you have a question you'd like for us to answer. And we're putting those together and working on that in the next couple of weeks.
Some of them will be a whole podcast.
Yes.
Or
so some
2.
questions we're like, we're going to have to do a whole podcast.
Yes, and some of them we will be able to answer several in one podcast.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're calling it March Madness, not because you have crazy questions.
But we're looking forward to that. Thank you for joining us today. It's been an enjoyable and delightful, different kind of day for us.
Yes, it was fun, though.
It was a blast. Every blessing to you, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. This is Keeping It Young podcast, and thank you for joining us.
Happy Valentine's Day.
The Keeping It Young podcast is a Bax 5 Media production. All rights reserved.